Hello, welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Western Australia. Not quite outback, but countryside. I'm not far off actually my destination, which is Dwellingup. It's actually been a longer ride than I'd anticipated. I thought I would easily do it in about an hour and 3/4, and it's looking more like it's going to be over a couple of hours. So I'm actually feeling a little bit fatigued from my extra unanticipated duration. I set off at 10:30, just after I believe, and it's now 1:45. So just around 2 hours it's taken so far. I think I'm just a couple of K away. So it looks like we are just on the way in here. I have been here before. It's not a bad little town actually. I have been to a cafeteria, which I think this is the one. Yeah, the little blue red, I think it is. This is my destination. Alright, so let me get something to eat and then I'll be back. So yeah, I'll get something to eat and then we'll take a look around the town. So it's been rather warm today so far. It's supposed to be 27 when I've set off, but it's actually 32 where I am now, I think. This lady's parking her nice Triumph. That's just the cafe over there to the left I've just been. This town's only small, but we'll have a wee wander around. Just get out of the smoke air from that lady ahead of me. She's having a fag. So like I've just mentioned, this place is actually really quite small. Really popular with riders. It's a decent ride out to get here from wherever you're riding from. Lovely day today. As I mentioned, popular with the riders. Howdo. So there's a few guys over on the street looking at the bikes. This gentleman has just left the petrol station. I think he was in the cafe, I'm not sure. He looked to be on a white Triumph. So let's walk back in to the town. That was the outskirts. Let's go into the centre a bit more.
Take the water with you. No.
Okay, let's take a right turn here. So we've just passed the bottle shop. This street looks quiet. Local post office. This is pretty much Dwellingup. So small town. Not a lot going on. That's going to be pretty much it for the little look around Dwellingup. Right, let's make us way to the Tiger and crack on. Back home, that is. Oh, so really quite warm. I was anticipating, yeah, mid-20s, copying early 30s.
Ride on.
Actually, let me just turn that off. Turn the headset on, Len. That'll help. Now, I've had trouble with my car door with the volume, and I just thought that turning it off and back on again would help. Negatory. So it's shouting at me pretty much. I've done a reset, factory reset on this car door. Seemed to be working alright. I've left it for a week or two. Back on again, and issues. So I'm not having much fun games actually at the moment with tech. Alright, so I'm going to head back home. Join me, because you'll see some Australian or Western Australian country. Not quite the outback, but the Australian countryside. Come on, hop on. So this should take me about 1.5 hours to get back home. Getting down here took just over 2 hours, have I mentioned, and hopefully the journey doesn't leave me fatigued on the return. I felt quite shattered actually. I haven't been on a long ride in such a long time, so that 2 hours without a break, without a stop, was plenty enough for me. I am using this app Kalamoto. If you've seen any earlier videos, really early videos, you'd see that I've had not a lot of success with the Kalamoto app. I had the free version. Now partly I think it wasn't great. Maybe a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, it would put all sorts of random waypoints in the journey which would just take you down a road to come back on the other side of the road to carry on a journey. It did bizarre things like that, so I was really frustrated with it. So I ended up just deleting the app after several attempts of using it. So fast forward a few years, last Christmas there was a special on Kalamoto, and I think it was half price. So I thought, well, I'll give it another try. So I actually have purchased the premium edition. So that means you get the twisty roads built into your journeys. Unfortunately, Perth doesn't have too many twisty roads. So I put in a twisty journey for getting to Dwellingup, and it took me down the coast, which was nice. And it took me down to a town or place called Fremantle, which was nice, and then took me on quite a way in to get here. So that's what took the additional extra half an hour. It basically took me to Fremantle unnecessarily. For this return journey, I'm going to be bypassing that. I've gone for the fastest route, so no twisties, and I should get there in about an hour and a half. I've just set off, be in approximately 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so obviously 3:30 p.m. should be my ETA. So take a look at the West Australian countryside. Possibly very similar to where you live, apart from the trees might look different. Then again, I'm assuming that you actually live somewhere where there's trees. Who knows, you might actually be in the desert. You might be from Morocco, let's say. Not many trees there, but pretty much the open road to myself. There was a car just further ahead of me. There's nothing behind me currently. So let's see where the ride takes us. So we will be crossing this railway line. Actually, on my way in, I did actually have to stop. Don't think it was this one actually. Maybe it was. There was a train on one of the crossings. So luckily I caught the back end of it, because trains here in Australia can be exceedingly long. We're talking kilometres long, 3, maybe even 4 kilometres long. Because of the vastness of this country, you can have massively long trains with the actual, what do we call them? Train cabins, trucks, you know what I mean. So you can get, I think it was here actually, coming up here where I stopped, and yeah, you can have 3 or 4 kilometre long trains. So luckily I caught the very last of that train, so otherwise I'd have been waiting maybe 5 minutes or so. That Moto app actually didn't take me on any random weird strangeness, didn't take me down any weird waypoints, so I think they've fixed certain elements to it. It's going to struggle obviously trying to do windy roads, to try and find windy roads, when here there's not that many. I don't think I will be renewing my subscription at the end of the year. I can just punch into Google Maps and pick out a journey. I'm paying a premium price for the premium twisty roads, where I don't have any twisty roads. I didn't think of that when I bought it. It is quite windy, as per, always seems to be windy, so I will be keeping the visor down. Look at all this land, and this obviously is just scratching the surface. Forget about Australia itself. Western Australia is about 30% of the whole landmass for Australia, so WA is massive, and different parts of Western Australia have different types of agricultural land. So here, as you can see, that looks like it's been grazed upon for cattle. There was a sheep, there was a cow there. I don't think the camera would have picked it up. I could have said it was a sheep and you'd have been none the wiser. It was actually a cow. There's a few more over there, and other parts then do grow grain, etc. Wine, grapes. Growing grapes, not growing wine. The further south you go in Western Australia, the greener it tends to get. The further north you go, the drier and more sandy it gets, and hotter. So we've just come out of our summer, which was very, very, very hot. Too much. We had some days, like 3 or 4 days at 42, 43 degrees. That's way too hot. Currently, as I ride, it's now 31 degrees. And it's not bad. It's warm enough, let's put it that way. But it's not exceedingly hot. Oh, what a wind blast. So when it's windy, from over that way where there's no trees or much of any trees, you get a right blast. But I've mentioned this many times before, it is very windy as I'm riding now. On camera it probably doesn't look that bad, and if you look at the trees as we are passing these trees, they might look like they're just swaying a little bit. It's actually been a really nice ride as well. I don't tend to ride out on my own that often really. I prefer to ride with somebody else. It's possibly my personality. I prefer to do things and experience things with people rather than just by myself. But this has actually been a nice ride, just for a one-person ride, let's say. It would be good actually if we do see a train. I'm going to be willing to stop by a train, aren't I, to stay 5 minutes in one place. But it would be good to actually experience have a train passing by on the camera. So do you see what I mean about lacking twisty roads? The thing is, it's the geography, isn't it? You know, back in the UK where I came from, roads would pretty much meander or mirror a river, so you'd have the twisty type roads. and very, very, very old roads as well. Some of the roads in the UK were Roman roads, so you know, very old roads. Here, with obviously Australia being a relatively young country, it's feasible when you're making a road to make it as straight as possible. It's the most efficient way of travelling then, isn't it? As I say, going round a bend. But it's logical, isn't it? Why would you wouldn't intentionally make a road very windy just for the sake of it, unless you were building a road specifically for motorcyclists, which would be great, wouldn't it? But that day will never come. So for more windy and twisty roads, we have to actually ride more into the countryside. And even then, they're not that twisty. So that old building just at the top of this car, I'll try and hand back a little bit, that's obviously a very old store, and it has on the head of it racing and trotting advertising. It's actually an old printer, and whether there's still a printer there, I don't know. So although these towns are quite old, some of them, by no means are they as old as some of the UK towns, obviously. And I think that's it for the rail tracks. I don't think we cross over any more of those. So unfortunately, or fortunately, we won't be experiencing a train on this one. I got talking to a mate of mine yesterday. He has a BMW GSA, which he's contemplating buying the new 2024, the brand new GS basically, but the adventure style of it. It doesn't launch in Australia, I think, until September this year, 2024. So he's also thinking of downsizing, thinking of potentially retiring. And amongst that conversation of doing that, he's talking of actually selling both his bikes and then hopefully retiring and then going off in a motorhome with his wife and his little dog. That's the dream and hopefully the plan. So he was thinking of selling both his bikes. He hasn't confirmed for certain, but that's what he's thinking of doing. Anyhow, I did say, could I look at potentially buying your Kawasaki then? Because I'm not 100% happy with this Rally Pro and how it rides. I have mentioned in a previous video that it's more vibey. It's definitely more vibey and not as smooth and comfortable to ride as the GT Pro. I previously had a GT Pro, I now have the Rally Pro, and over those two bikes I would definitely pick the GT Pro. I was, and maybe I'm thinking of actually having a complete change and maybe just have the Kawasaki Z900 RS. He bought that bike from brand new. It's in mint condition, it hasn't done that many kilometers. It would be a really good bike to have. I have ridden it, and it's really smooth to ride. I like it. And then he got to say, and along with my wife, well, why not just get the 2024 Triumph GT Pro then? It's had a few tweaks. Supposedly both bikes are more were vibey. This definitely more so from my first-hand experience. So why not get the new version? Because they've taken some of those vibes out of the handlebars apparently. But I'm in a dilemma. If you have watched any of my recent videos, I've not been impressed with Triumph's customer service and lack of assistance with a warranty issue, or what I deem to have a warranty issue. I've had no luck still from Triumph, from my initial inquiry to them to say, can you put this under warranty, for them to basically say no, I've heard nothing else from them. I think overall it sounds like most Triumph owners have a good relationship with Triumph, along with obviously their service, customer service. I just think I've been one of the unlucky ones. But it's made me think, would I actually consider buying, and this would actually be a brand new 2024 GT Pro, so not a second-hand one. I would buy a brand new one. Now with that, knowing from my experience of Triumph Australia, would I buy and give them a lot of money a Triumph motorcycle to know that I might not get 100% customer service as and when I need them, and that's niggling away, just niggling away. So I don't know what to do. I am slightly erring towards going with a Kawasaki. I think it would be a good fit. Obviously it's a complete change for me from this type of bike. It's more than obviously just a road naked bike again. I did previously have an MT-07. That's what I learned to ride on. I'm recently new to riding as well, so that was the first bike I bought to learn on. Had it for maybe a year or two, and then passed the big class motorcycle license here, and with that I jumped on the 900 GT Pro, and latterly the Rally Pro. If you're wondering why I did have a change in maybe a short span of time, because I think it was 2022 when I bought my GT Pro. I only had it for coming up 18 months or so, maybe like that. I had a slight incident with my mate Carl. Just take a look at this if you have not seen this before. Slight warning, it is a little bit confronting, not massively, but it is quite a shunt. Yeah, very friendly riders. So as we just get onto this main road.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa! So yeah, that's the reason why I got the Rally Pro. I was luckily fully comprehensive insured. The insurance company quickly paid out, and within a couple of months of the incident, it was August and it was October when I bought this last year, 2023. But because I didn't actually test ride this bike, I just thought it'll ride just like the GT Pro. I know exactly what that bike's like because I had one. It's different. So we're sort of getting further out now, or should I say getting closer to civilization, let's say. So unfortunately it will become a little bit more industrial looking, I would have thought, around here. So I think I'll wrap this little video up for now and just say thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. I may or may not have a new bike in the near future, and bye for now.